1970s in the NBA were defined by racial tension at an all-time high, violence so bad it threatened the safety of the players, declining ratings.
We cannot go 0 for 4. We cannot go 0 for 4. Or no, 0 for 5. We can't go 0 for 5. All right, listen, this gotta be a hit. We gotta get through this video, bro. It's gotta be entertaining, bro. Now look, the NBA used to have a heavy drug problem. You about to get into it. And when Michael Jordan came in, he detailed how his teammates were doing coke, all types of stuff, bro. A bunch of fiends in the league, bro. That's why the rate. Oh no!
Verge of extinction, but most of all, drugs, and more drugs. While the country was seemingly on a decade-long bender, the magic party powder did not miss the NBA on its run of destruction, peaking at a ridiculous level where upwards of 75% of the NBA were reportedly ripping some booger sugar on the regular. Despite the NBA not wanting you to know about the disaster that was going on behind the scenes, the cocaine era in the NBA resulted in destroyed careers, destroyed lives, the worst basketball in NBA history, complete cultural divide, and even death. The NBA would probably like you to click off here because what I'm going to show you might change the way you look at the history of the league. Okay, the 1970s were an ugly time for basketball as the league scrambled for answers following the exit of the rivalry that sparked the success of the whole league. As Wilt and Russell's ultra-marketable battle would leave the successor in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who although in the eyes of most fans and historians alike was the greatest player to ever touch.
Bro, his neck is long as bro. What the like, nah, that's crazy. That is insane, bro. This is he's literally built like a giraffe. That's crazy.
Ball up to that point. Kareem's legacy, marketability, and popularity.
Bro, when Kareem was at this game, bro, they kept, every time LeBron scored, they kept panning over to his face, and he just looked increasingly more upset every time LeBron got closer and closer to breaking his record, bro. Like that shit. That's why he wore this jacket with all his accolades on it.
Never seemed to live up to his talent level. There were a few reasons for this. One of them being the lacking of another rival, as Kareem was the clear #1 player, followed by Dr. J, who was a completely different caliber of player at a different position. Kareem's like a flash and not.
Bro, the craziest part about this, he's probably like 27, 28 here, maybe 31, 32. Them niggas in the 70s, 80s, and maybe 90s. When they got to like my age, like 22, about to be 23 type shit, or like even just in their 20s at all, they looked old as fuck. Nate Archibald got a pic of himself when he was 18 looking like a 40-year-old man.
Different caliber of player at a different position. Kareem's like a flash and not catering his game to please anyone.
Like, hold up, bro. Look at this nigga.
At a different position. Kareem's like a flash and not catering his game.
Bro, he's definitely not in his 30s, bro. Or if he's in his 30s, he's early 30s, bro. And look at how he looking.
To please anyone.
Like, come on, bro. He like somebody's grandfather. They had no type of swag when it came to haircuts. A lot of people in the 70s had swag, but like you that one Dr. J pick, they put that shit on with them clothes though. But when it came to haircuts and just like facial features and aesthetics, bro, very few men had swag.
Anyone other than the win column, and lastly, the major down period of league popularity around him. Although not the best face of the league from a marketability perspective, the league was struggling for other reasons.
Like
the parity
full beard, no mustache,
repeat champs throughout the decade did limit the mainstream popularity. Although assuming by the fact that you're watching a shitty basketball channel with like 25,000 subscribers,
oh my god,
NBA fan than most and appreciate competition at the highest level. But I'm sure we can agree that if the NBA didn't have dominating runs of teams like Boston and LA, with some of the most recognizable celebrities, let alone athletes in American culture, the NBA would be a shell of what it is. Kind of similar to the WNBA before getting a real face of their league. It wasn't just the lack of an intriguing product that was holding the NBA back, as digging in deeper to the realities and outside perspective of the NBA holds a much darker truth. Some of which was the players' faults. Frequent violence on the floor way further than just the physicality that fans love and miss became all too common for 1970.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Hold on! He put the bitch up!
Became all too common.
Yo! Nah, they letting them go too. They're not even getting in front of them like that.
For 1970.
Hold up, okay, hold up. Oh,
The worst of which being instances like
they really
Rudy
put them bitches
Tomjanovic
up,
getting
though.
his face shattered
He
in a
almost died.
lethal blow, a square-off that swung the momentum of a playoff series, and even an old man getting his ass kicked on the floor. The NBA was a sponsor's worst nightmare. Although the on-court drama was bad, the off-court issues, of course, were even worse. Drugs plagued the league at a time where addiction was all too normalized. But what came with the issues the NBA faced was even more
They was getting that booger sugar.
At a decade beginning at the end of the civil rights movement, the 1970s was a new beginning for the country that brought its own set of challenges. As the NBA was dealing with on and off the court issues as a league that's comprised of 75% African Americans, there was a racially motivated negative stigma about the characters that represented the brand. But more importantly than some dude's racially motivated disdain was the fact that the NBA players were gambling with their lives and in some cases even other people. One legendary career that the world never got to see unfold came crashing in at the turn of the decade. And had you been around in 1970, I don't think anyone could have predicted the train wreck that was about to unfold, because Spencer Haywood was on top of the world and then some. After
this nigga's in college,
Team USA out of a junior college, the inspirational
come on, bro. He in college, bro. He look old as shit.
Start of
but
a
they was ripped though.
career
Like,
started
look
out
at
with
like
major
you can see
bang.
every
As at 20
bone.
years old in the ABA, Spencer Haywood may have had the best
But yeah,
rookie
you can see
season
every
I've ever
single
seen, leading
muscle,
the Denver Rockets
like,
to the
it's
first
crazy
seed on the
how
back of a
defined they
30
were.
points
And
and
I said
20
bone, but
rebound per
it's
game
crazy how defined they
season,
were.
taking home Rookie of the Year and the damn MVP trophy in his first season. This truly looked like the start of the next transcendent big man's career. He checked all the boxes for a big guy at a time where size and physicality
Okay, he got a little
when
nice
pairing
midi.
it with his incredible touch and finesse, this
Oh.
guy looks like the future of
Okay.
basketball. And as he transitioned to the NBA in his second season, there was really minimal drop-off of the Seattle Supersonics, averaging 26 points and 13.6 rebounds with a block and a half.
He
a
came
game
into
from
the
the ages
league
of
going
20
crazy.
to 25. Haywood was a guaranteed all-star that was already one of the best players in the NBA. Only problem was, Seattle was a pretty terrible team. The strange part about this is that after being traded to pair with Bob McAdoo at 25 years old while entering the prime of his career, Spencer Haywood completely fizzled out. After being selected as an all-star every season, excluding his injury-ridden 1971 campaign, Haywood would see a steep statistical decline the second that he stepped in the Big Apple. The reason behind the decline would later become very clear, as Haywood would make a monumental discovery, which was how much he loved doing cocaine. As the snowball grew larger and larger, his numbers would decline further and further, from 19 points a game to 16 points.
I'm not gonna lie, ruining your NBA career so you can snort some booger sugar is crazy, bro. Like, that's wow. Wow, now instead of having generational wealth, bro, you're just a crackhead. Crazy as hell.
15 points a game. But compared to what comes next, declining stats is still sunshine and rain.
How many homeless people
As the
think
Lakers
like
began
in the
building
league?
their dynasty with the rookie Magic Johnson
Besides
and Kareem
Delonte West.
Abdul-Jabbar, filling their hole at the
We don't
power
know.
forward position.
Homeless
with a
people
once-
probably got some crazy lore. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of them are have served. You know, shout out to them. Shout out everybody serving and has served, who have served. A lot of them served in like actual wars. You know what I'm saying? They got like, it's lore that we're missing out on.
Great big man seemed like a great pennies on the dollar addition if this guy wasn't busy filling his nose instead. The LA lifestyle became too much to handle, as instead of the weekend New York parties that involved a bump here and there, Haywood was now driving his Rolls Royce down to the beach to go smoke crack instead. Putting together championship squads and drug-addicted power forwards don't exactly go hand.
No way he's 25 looking like this, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
in hand. According to Haywood, he was certainly not the only one in this Lakers
Why
squad
keep learning?
indulging in the drug, but it became clear that his use of the drug was the most severe. During morning practice before Game 3 of the NBA Finals,
When they getting paid
Spencer Haywood
relative,
would
like
pass out during
crazy
stretches at the
relative
start of
to
practice.
the
There's
time.
no secret that he liked to
Well,
party
probably
a little
not, 'cause
harder
the
than
league
the
wasn't
next
like
guy,
that
and
profitable,
knowing his
so you're right.
issue, his teammates would frantically try to wake
But then actually not, because if he was still, like, say he's still alive, right? I don't know if he's still alive. He probably not. But say like he was alive in like the Twin Tents, he probably would have got royalties or shit because he's an NBA alumni. I don't know. He might have got something.
taking him up to no success. Fearing the worst, his teammates had assumed that they had just saw their friend die in front of their very eyes, before thankfully Haywood would regain consciousness in the movie-like scene that he created. With his eyes set
That
on
is
taking down the
insane.
76ers, Coach Paul Westhead wasn't putting up with the drug-filled nonsense that Haywood was bringing to the team. At the height of their season, Haywood was released from the roster altogether. I wish I could tell you that this was where Haywood would turn his life around, but in drug-filled rage, Spencer Haywood would make a call that almost flipped the world upside down. job. Taking no accountability for his actions, Haywood placed all of the blame for his misfortunes on the man who punished him. Driving home in his Rolls Royce the morning after a cocaine bender, thinking Paul Westhead must die. Haywood would reach out to one of his longtime friends who, in his words, was a real gangster. The two would get cooking, they sat down, found the coach's address, and planned the homicide of his former coach. Before, thank fucking goodness, his mother would talk him out of the dumbest move I've ever heard in my lifetime. Haywood would disappear to play in Italy for 2 years, in which he
was about to order Agent 47 on this nigga. That is crazy as hell, bro. Why would you... Yo, he got kicked off the team for being a cokehead, and then he's gonna say, you know what, bro? It's time for you to get out of here, bro. He tried to take him out the server. That is not normal, bro. Like, that's how you know you got a problem. That's when you call the hotline, okay? Listen, that's when you call that number. When you do shit like this, you call that number, bro. Mom saved his life. Hell yeah, man. Shout out W Mom, bro. Everybody need a W Mom.
Receive help for his issues and returned to the NBA for 2 seasons, where at least he had his act together, although never returning to anywhere near his former self. Despite being
I'll mention that shit throughout the whole video.
Flipped the script on what looked like an incredibly motivating story. A hardworking kid out of junior college came into the best league in the world and almost set his name with some of the best to ever do it. But a couple of pipes and lines later, that bright kid would be turned into a homicidal maniac on the verge of doing an irreversible tragedy. I don't think the NBA wants to put that in his bio under his headshot in the Hall of Fame. Spencer Haywood was a dark turnaround for a guy who seemed to be on track for excellence. But in reality, Spencer Haywood wasn't even the most talented career to be destroyed by the NBA's
Len Bias, right?
Praise.
No, wait. Len Bias, how did Len Bias pass? I forget.
Michael Jordan, whose basketball inspiration was prior to entering the NBA, what do you think his answer would be? Magic, Bird, Kareem, maybe even Dr. J? No. The man that inspired and paved the way for the greatest of all time was none other than the Skywalker David Thompson. To illustrate how much of a stranglehold this young man had in the league upon entering, let's guess the identity of 2 players shown on the screen. These are the statistics between 2 players from the age of 21 to 24. One who has been universally accepted as one of the greatest ever, and one who powdered his nose. If you guessed Kobe Bryant to David Thompson, you would be correct.
Yo, listen, I didn't say it. You know, it don't even matter, bro. I did start thinking Kobe, though. Real shit. Because he said one of the greatest. I was like, it's not Jordan. It's not LeBron. Yo, it's probably going to be Kobe.
David Thompson was the original ultra-athletic 2-guard that paved the way for guys like MJ and Kobe in his younger days as well. Entering the NBA, this guy, no question, looked to be the next face of basketball. Going 30-1 in his historic college career, this guy was doing things that no one had ever seen before. Not only was he jumping 4 feet off the ground with vertical...
The Len Bias law? I've never heard of the Len Bias law. What is it like? You can't snort that shit in the league? Like, what is that? The Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 1986 was signed by President Ronald Reagan on October 27, 1986. The law provides a mandatory minimum prison term of 20... What? So because Len Bias got cooked and he was supposed to be like the next greatest thing ever, they said, yeah, you gotta go. That's crazy work. That's how you know that nigga had motion. I gotta close these tabs, bro, because these tabs was ass. So let me close. Oh, the Skype video. I'm gonna watch that.
Nearing 45 inches in the 1970s, but Thompson and his North Carolina teammate actually invented the alley-oop as a centric point in their offense to take advantage of his monumental leaping ability. This guy was a centric point. 70s, but Thompson and his North Carolina teammate actually invented the alley-oop as a central point in their offense to take advantage of his monumental leaping ability. This guy was a show to watch and even drew in young Michael Jordan, as even though MJ would of course attend UNC, he grew up a fan of North Carolina State University due to the Showtime 2-guard.
Alright, bro, we gotta figure out how to do this because this camera was not, not the camera, the light was not falling, bro. It was perfectly fine. All right, now hopefully it don't fall out of nowhere again for the 3rd time. The light is still good. We're good. Okay, man. I don't know what's going on.
That played strikingly similar to his airness in later years. The world was excited by the high leaper similar to Zion craze of recent years, but unlike Zion, David Thompson didn't disappoint on any level. As the first overall pick in both the ABA and NBA drafts, David Thompson was take his talents to Denver, where prior to Nikola Jokic...
That's on me. 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 Yo, I swear, sometimes I feel like I'm built like a tank because that shit did not hurt, like at all. It just directly hit my knee, bro.
David Thompson was the best talent to ever call the Mile High City his home, finishing second in MVP voting with near 26 6 and 4, as well as 1.6 steals and 1.2 blocks. David Thompson was instantly 6 and 4, as well as
why did he highlight
finishing second in MVP voting?
Why does he read 2 times All-Star MVP as second NBA voting? Why did you highlight this?
With near 26 6 and 4, as well as 1.6 steals and 1.2 blocks, David Thompson was instantly one of the best two players on the planet, and almost took home a ring in his rookie year, as even with a 42-point explosion from Thompson, Dr. J would take home the win in a matchup that really should have started one of the best friendly rivalries in basketball history. As the NBA and ABA would merge the following season, David Thompson would continue to blossom as one of the best scorers that the NBA had ever seen. With insane vertical separation and a good mid-range jumper to pair, there wasn't very many that could compare as a perimeter scorer at the time. Putting up a combined 26 a game on good efficiency over the next 3 years, it seemed that the all-time great status for Thompson was truly inevitable. Despite failing to build a strong enough supporting core around him in his younger years, the individual dominance of Thompson was incredible to watch. I mean, this guy still is third all-time in single-game scoring after dropping a ridiculous 73 points with no three-point line. As the world was set to watch who should have been the savior of the league blossom, the Denver Nuggets would lock up their star with the highest contract in basketball, paying him $4 million over the next 5 years. Things looked up for Thompson. His contract in basketball.
This is lower than a vet minimum. And this was the highest contract in the 80s. That is wild as fuck, bro. Wow. Nah, like the league money just skyrocketed, bro. I mean, they just got like 7 Bs, bro. I don't even know how much they got. The salary cap finna go crazy, bro. When Wimby signed that $400 million contract, don't be surprised. It might be even 5. I don't know. I think he's set to make a $989 million contract for like 4 years. Totals out to 900, like almost a B, bro. I don't know how the Spurs gonna pay that.
Paying him $4 million over the next 5 years. Things looked up for Thompson, and even though an injury in the 1980 season would result in him being sidelined for half the year, coming back to average another 25 a game to bounce back made it seem that the ship was smooth sailing. But boy, was that so wrong. With a lot of time on his hands, the Skywalker found his new favorite time killer. Thompson began indulging in cocaine as a way to cope with loneliness for the recovery process, and as a way to deal with the pressure that comes with the immense fame and ridiculous expectations with being the richest dude in the NBA. David was an
This is what happened when you ain't got no video games,
comes along with being one of the best players in the world. He was a quiet Christian kid who, in his word, didn't play basketball.
Bro, just shave it off. Just cut it all off, bro. If your hair ever get like this, man, just cut it off, bro. Unless you go to Turkey. Ain't no Turkey in this time, so you only have one option, bro. You cut that shit off, bro, because this shit look goofy as hell.
He was a basketball player. As he lost his faith and lost basketball that was essentially his identity as a man, the only thing that he could use to cope was the magic.
This is a more respectable reason of why to do that shit, though.
With a bounce-back season, 1982 was a completely different story. Putting up just 15 games for the Nuggets, Thompson would be moved to the bench at 27 years old in what should have been the prime of his career. Due to ridicule from cashing the biggest checks in the NBA on the bench, and the self-disappointment from his declining play, Thompson's fun coping mechanism would snowball into full-blown addiction. As the worse he played, the more he used, and the more he used, the worse he played. Thompson would be moved to Seattle in the following season, where although his stats had dropped significantly from his peak, an early season run would earn him one more All-Star selection, averaging 16 points a game for the year. And sadly, this was really the last we'd ever see of David Thompson in the NBA. Just 19 games into the 1984 season, at 29 years old, Thompson found himself back into a decline.
Shorty, he's like 32. Bro. This the old niggas. This why people think like 25, 26, that shit old, cuz you had people looking like this, bro. You would think he might be 45, bro. Like, nah, not only, bro, nah, bro. Look, we finding out why all these NBA players and stuff look old as fuck. They was all doing hard drugs. Bro, I get it now. It was right in front of our faces the whole time, bro. They're doing hard drugs. Man, okay, good thing we don't do that. Like, come on, man.
Declining role as his play significantly fell every game, it felt like.
Well, I ain't gonna say we. I know some people that do crack.
Practice facility, this would be the last stop of Thompson's career, as after getting into a fight in a New York nightclub, Thompson would fall down the stairs and suffer a career-ending knee injury that completely took the bird out of the sky. Trying to rebound with any role that he could get, Thompson was cut from the Indiana Pacers before going on a drug-filled bender, which concluded him being arrested for public intoxication. The kid who knew nothing more than playing basketball had just seen his life.
That's like John Wall injury, bro. Like, that's so random.
A few years after signing the biggest deal in basketball, Thompson was spending $1,000 a day on cocaine, which resulted.
Bro, that nigga Fay's Bank definitely do crack. Like, he gotta be on something, man. He can't just be smoking weed, bro.
In a 1986 bankruptcy, with no money, no job, a destroyed reputation, and no credibility after fumbling a golden goose opportunity, Thompson would see his darkest days after being locked up for 180 days for assaulting his wife in 1987. The reality of this nightmare hadn't really settled in until while sitting in jail, a TV segment would play honoring Dr. J on his brilliant career after announcing his retirement. 9 years after their matchup in his rookie season, when speaking on the best players he had the honor of matching up against, David Thompson was the first name that he said. Despite being subject to an applause by the whole room, Thompson's reality finally clicked. He was no longer the Skywalker. His friend and counterpart in the league was being honored on national television for a legendary career while he was sitting in jail broke and hopeless. After reaching rock bottom, I'm glad to say at least Thompson managed to build a life for himself after fumbling what should have been an all-time great NBA career, as after reverting back to Christianity in jail, Thompson remains sober with a healthy family to this day. Although Thompson's career never lived up to what it should have been, he still seems rather respected for his excellence as a trailblazer in the league that only a few really got to appreciate. The same cannot be said for Michael Ray Richardson, who showed no decency in his ugly exit from the NBA. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about Michael Ray Richardson's game. Nicknamed Sugar Ray for his sweet moves, a long and athletic 6'5".
Bro, we gotta bring back some of these crazy, quirky, swaggy nicknames, bro. We have no swaggy nicknames. Like, I know LeBron gave Tatum the nickname The Problem. That was aight. We have Chef Curry. That's iconic. Chef Curry, the chef. King James, but he gave himself that nickname. But it's still hard. The Slim Reaper, tough. But what's D-Book's nickname? What's Donovan Mitchell's nickname? We had Flash. That's such a crazy cold nickname. Flash. Nigga, yo, what up, Flash? Bro, you named after the coldest. I used to have a Flash poster right there. You named after the coldest superhero of all time? Come on, bro. Elite Aura. We ain't got nobody named with Elite Aura, bro. Like, I don't know. These niggas need to start watching anime, bro. Like, Gojo got the 6 eyes. Kurama got the... No, my fault. Naruto and Kurama got the demon-tailed fox. Bro, we have some cold nicknames everywhere but the modern NBA. We have no nicknames for Maxey, Halliburton, Ant, besides Ant-Man, but like that's just his name. That's not cold. Like Ant-Man cold, but it's not cold though. It's not like nothing unique. We don't got nothing for Tatum. We got nothing for no superstar, no young superstar. Wembanyama is called the Alien, which is cool as fuck actually. Now I'm thinking about it. Now I'm hearing it. The Alien. That's tough. He might be the only one nigga with a nickname. Luka Doncic got the Don, but that's his name. The Don is his name, bro. Somebody needed a name to be named the Dark Knight. That'd be tough. If you name somebody the Dark Knight, that'd be tough. But who would it be?
Guard with fantastic defensive instincts.
It had to be like the best number one in the league.
One of the greatest guards of all time. Hell, the actual greatest point of all time, Magic Johnson, said he played exactly like him, and from the eye test alone, you can tell he was right. After a dramatic upswing in production through 4 collegiate seasons at Montana, Sugar Ray was itching to prove himself at the NBA level big time. Playing under Red Holzman, who's notorious for not playing rookies, Richardson would start his career poorly at 6-3-3 in 16 minutes a game, shooting really inefficiently. Although Richardson was already a pretty elite defender with a steal and a half in his limited playing time, New York Knicks fans were quick to write off the underperforming rookie as a bust. But once given the opportunity to succeed, he quickly shut them the hell up. 15 points with a league-leading 10 assists and 3 steals a game in his all-star sophomore season on much-improved efficiency, Michael Ray Richardson was the overnight savior of the New York Knicks. Proving he should, more so than demanding to play, caused a quick turnaround from bust to future cornerstone piece. And at this time, Richardson was enjoying every minute of it. As a kid who had just spent 4 years playing in Montana, being the center of attention in the biggest city in America stroked his ego in a way that he couldn't get enough of. As similar to many college-aged kids and young adults, his addictive personality and need to be liked would continually surround him with the wrong people doing the wrong things. Of course, the consequences of these types of actions are not seen immediately, but there's no hiding from inevitability. Richardson would frequent bars and clubs and dabble in recreational drug use from time to time. Similar to a typical college kid, he's just having fun with friends, meeting girls, and doing what it seemed like everyone else was doing at the time. And in the moment, there were essentially zero repercussions.
She got some strong
Richardson
ass
would
knees,
continue to see his upswing in production into his third and beginning of his fourth season in the league, essentially being a baby Magic Johnson who may have been a little quicker while being the best perimeter defender at his position. Baby Magic Johnson who may have been a little quicker while being
yeah. Yeah. Bro, what type of layup is this? This nigga said low key, that take way more skill than the regular layup, bro. That's a two-hand underhand layup in transition contested.
Being the best perimeter defender at his position. Even Larry Bird said outside of Magic, Sugar Ray was the
that shit getting pinned off the glass.
It wasn't
bro.
An overnight collapse
Bam
for
is
Richardson
smacking that
in
to
the
the
NBA.
sixth
As
row.
a hardworking young point with all of the talent in the world. However, his drug use and casual partying got less and less casual. His upswing in production.
Why you like Baby King? Bro, Baby King was out here doing crack in the 80s? Nah, bro. That don't make sense, man.
Starting to creep down in the other direction in the 82 season. And after Elsman, who had earned Richardson respect and vice versa, was fired from the team, Richardson's New York ties got a lot looser. New coach Hubby Brown wasn't so entertained by the young fun guard whose party habits had began affecting his on-court production. Richardson would be moved in the following season to Golden State for Bernard King, who ironically would see an even worse spiral due to drugs and alcohol that caused numerous dangerous, violent, and sexual crimes.
That's that New York lifestyle.
Drunk driving, resisting arrest, and sexual assault being so high he couldn't remember a single detail. Yeah, the NBA really was flipped upside down.
Wow.
But for Michael Ray Richardson, there wasn't exactly a light at the end of the tunnel either. Although being a hardworking guard, his own attitude and life decisions
He's the first person to look young in the 80s,
result
bro.
in his downfall. Even after being traded, the guy refused to give up the NYC lifestyle and camped out until the Warriors would send a coach to Richardson to renegotiate his contract and give him a fresh start in Golden State. With a new beginning, Richardson immediately ruined it as he spiraled out of control as less of a party boy and more of a drug-addicted cancer to the team, as his hobby became an addiction and his play would plummet dramatically from 18 to 12 points a game, and he now was a hot-headed menace getting in fights with coaches and teammates. The Warriors would get rid of their newly acquired all-star just 33 games into the Michael Ray Richardson experience.
Damn.
Richardson was no longer that fun, new, exciting point guard. He was now a drug-addicted and financially ruined paycheck-to-paycheck millionaire.
Bro, that's so crazy.
All his money on drugs and
niggas ruined their career over booger sugar.
Reportedly had numerous people hunting him down on the East Coast for money that he owed to them. But after being traded back to the New York area on the New Jersey Nets, the problems reached their peak. Now visiting nightly crack houses instead of clubs and parties, Richardson's play had steeply declined. He was in and out of rehab facilities, and as David Stern had stepped up as the commissioner of the league, Richardson was banned after the 83-84 campaign due to a positive drug test. After getting his life on track, Richardson would be blessed with a rule change the following season allowing for a 3-strike system to be put into place. Stern's early 1980s introduction to the NBA came at a time where...
Listen. David Stern gets a lot of slack for being super strict, especially with the fashion and everything like that. That's why like none of the 2000 stars had really any drip until like that shit started being a thing, and then they started like being able to express themselves more. But, bro, he high-key saved the league. Because, Jesus Christ, we just seen 4 drugged out superstars ruin their career because they wanted to snort that booger sugar, bro. Especially if they was in LA or New York. That's crazy as hell.
As we've learned so far, was in desperate need of a cleanup, and with his plan, gave the opportunity for players to help themselves get clean with a paid rehabilitation after strike 1, an unpaid rehab after strike 2, and a banning from the NBA if you refuse to help yourself for strike 3.
That boy Tyreek Evans got like banned for like 3 years.
Richardson's rehab visits had seemingly helped him bounce back in a major way with his best season in the NBA in the 85 season. At 25-8 with 3 steals a game, the young gun energizer was seemingly back and better than ever. When all was looking up with a new child, a comeback player of the year award, and an all-star selection, a relapse would sadly give Richardson his second stroke.
Damn.
With his progress he made essentially wiped out, Richardson would be notified of his third drug suspension just 20 days after in 1986.
They got his ass out of here.
Oh yeah, OJ Mayo. NBA for life. After
they
this
point,
Richardson would never touch an NBA
Mayo.
floor again, with disdain for the way that the NBA treated him, but in reality, Sugar Ray had as many chances as anyone and disappointed us all time and time again. Although complaining about Stern's harsh drug
penalties, that's young David Stern, hold up. Why he kind of swaggy though? His teeth just kind of fucked up. He kind of swaggy. Like it's like a little bit of an air to him. You know what I'm saying? Shout out David Stern. Rest in peace, man. Oh, he got some fat ass earlobes though.
As the second player to receive this ban, the measures that Stern went to clean up the NBA would be validated in the months to follow, as the behind-the-scenes disaster that cocaine was causing in the NBA would be blasted to the mainstream. Just 4 months after the banning of Sugar Ray, the world would be shocked to learn about the passing of Len Bias the night of his second overall draft selection in 1986. After returning to college with a new $1 million Reebok deal and a multi-million-dollar NBA
Bro, we
contract,
almost had our own
Len,
Michael
as he had
Jordan.
done before, celebrated by a ripping blow with his former teammates.
I like Adam Silver more, but that's just cause like I don't know. I think Adam Silver be doing the right things. It's just he gotta lock in on some of this marketing shit. Like how the finals is marketed his ass. He gotta tell ESPN to lock the fuck in and market his superstars better. He gotta crack down on some shit, but I think he's straight. When he need to make sure this sacred apron bullshit don't go through though. Like I don't know how the league, bro. Grant Williams and CJ McCollum will pay for their sins.
Late into the night, 4 hours into the party, disaster struck as Len Bias would seize up in his former dorm room before being rushed to the emergency room just a bit too late. The world was shocked to say the least, as 11,000 people would watch the 22-year-old be laid to rest. This was bigger than basketball at this point, as it wasn't just affecting bums on the street. This was a young, successful, and healthy man who had just lost his life due to one poor decision. The severity of the issue actually played a hand in the U.S. launching a war on drugs, which was completely disastrous, but also fueled David Stern's motives to clean up the league, as the secret was now out. These guys had just smashed the emergency button. More so than the loss of careers, Stern's anti-drug wave would have an immediate impact on the power structure of the NBA. Just a few days before the passing of Len Bias, Larry Bird and the Celtics would celebrate their third trip of the decade, beating out the Twin Tower Rockets, who really sat in a position similar to Bird, McHale, and Parrish in their earlier days. But honestly, it wouldn't be crazy to say that this young Rockets core had even more talent. With two of the greatest talents to ever grace the front court, the Rockets should have been on a violent upswing at the tail end of the 1980s. But in reality, the decisions of a few, along with
why are you thinking like that, bro? He just meant that they're tall. That's all he meant, bro. Why are you making it about some other shit? It would have been crazy if you said that about a New York Knicks duo.
unlucky injuries,
but I guess the Rockets
derailed the best young team out west. The two-guard pairing of Lewis Lloyd and Mitchell Wiggins added crucial perimeter help that the Rockets needed to round out this championship-level roster.
It's so many NBA players that got NBA
points per
finals,
game and
bro.
11 points per game on the Western Conference champions, these guys were no slouches. The two are known as friendly rivals, competing at the position, but more so best friends. A bit detached from the rest of the team, the two would get after it hard in practice to the point where you could call this the best shooting guard duo in the league, outside of MJ and whoever the hell backed him up. But as hard as they went on the court, they went even harder off of it. Often visiting some of the more shady bars and clubs around Houston at a time where the nightlife industry in the city was prosperous, the two would distance themselves from the rest of the team and where the nightlife...
Why we got so many lookalikes, bro? No, like, yo, a cancer stick is crazy, bro. Like, lock in. And he looking over here like, what's going on over here, pal? Yo, is he pushing him? It's so much shit going on in this picture, bro. Like, he hitting this little shit right here, bro. Like, he's showing his Yu-Gi-Oh deck, and he look like he about to push him, and he looking worried, and he's like, what's going on over here? And then he's like, what's going on over here? And like, it's not a sight. Like, this is crazy work.
Life industry in the city was prosperous. The two had distanced themselves from the rest of their team and found themselves in some bad positions with all the wrong people. Although mostly undocumented and speculative, the night that their worlds fell apart came 32 games into the 1987 season, as after exiting the club on what was just any other night, a stranger came up to the two as a fan of the team, offering them a bump of the best shit they could find. And boy, they had to try that shit out. After a night of partying early into the morning, the two would be called into private the following day as the NBA was given an anonymous tip that the shooting guard pair may have been indulging in some extracurriculars. As word got out that the two had failed the drug test, the world was shocked to see that on their first strike, the commissioner had made an example out of them, banning them for life from the NBA. This wasn't just any other team. This is the modern made an example of them banning them for life from the NBA. This wasn't just any other team. This is the modern day equivalent of Lively and Gafford being booted from the NBA after their finals round while on top of the world just out of the blue. With a laundry list of all-time talents destroyed by the drug, numerous players banned, and potential the laundry list of all-time talents.
Oh my God, bro. He could be 50, gang. How you playing the league, bro? David Stern was not playing, bro. He just said, hey, fuck y'all niggas. Y'all getting out of here.
Destroyed by the drug, numerous players banned, and potential dynasties broken up just a few years later, and it's safe to say that Commissioner David Stern had successfully ridded the NBA of their cocaine epidemic. The man deserves all the credit in the world, because when looking back, I don't think people realize how dark these days really were. Cocaine is a drug that can make you feel like anything is possible until the effects wear off, leaving the craving to feel like Superman once again. As the bodies hit the floor, the NBA really desperately needed a cleanup and a shifting of the focus on the NBA into what made it so great in the first place. David Stern took a league filled with crime, violence, and racial tension and put the focus back on the players who brought it to the top, getting them the money they earned, treating them like shareholders more so than employees, and elevating the NBA to bigger and better heights. It's also safe to say that the 1980s drafting of the best sports rivalry in history may have played a hand in that. Check out my video here covering the infamous Larry Bird and Magic Johnson saga if you have.
W video, man.